everyone, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Unchained Melody. It was originally written in 1955 for a movie called Unchained, but the Righteous Brothers version from a decade later, I think from 1965, is by far the most famous version of this song, so that's the one that we're going to be doing today. Now, if you find that you do need some extra help along the way, I have a bunch of resources designed to help you learn songs just like this. There's my free ebook, my complete beginners course, my Barre Chord course, and I have a whole bunch coming out, like a fingerpicking course, advanced chords, embellishments, a whole bunch of stuff. So, stay tuned for all that. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right in and get started with the chord shapes. For the first section, we need 4 chords. C, A minor, F, and G. And for C to A minor, the switch is really simple. We just are on a C chord, and then we just move one finger to get to the A minor chord. And if you don't already use that trick, I recommend getting it into your repertoire. Then we have an F chord, and we can play F like a bar chord. And for that, I recommend checking out my Barre Chords course because it'll show you like an easier way to get into it. But if you're not interested in playing bar chords, we can always play it this way. So we're skipping the highest string, first fret of the B string with our first finger, second fret with our middle finger, third fret with our pinky, and then just above that, third fret with our ring finger. And I put my thumb over the top to mute it, but it's not really necessary. And going from A minor to that shape, there's a bit of a trick to it. You can leave your first finger down. See how I can just pivot off of that? So just try that a little bit if you're new to these shapes. And then we go from F to a G chord. And I like to play my G chord like this because we're going to be going back to a C chord, and it's really easy to go from this shape to C. See how I just take these 2 fingers and I just move them down, and then I finish my C chord. G, C. And when you're ready, we can practice those in order using downstrokes only, playing through the verse a couple times. We're not going to worry about the rhythm. We're just going to go down, down. We'll add our pattern after. We're just focusing on the chords for now. Here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. So make sure you can do it just like that, downstrokes only, going through all the chord changes nice and smooth, and then we can take a look at the finger picking pattern. It goes like this. And that is probably the simplest finger picking pattern that you're ever going to come across. We have our thumb on the A string, and then our 3 fingers here on the top 3 strings, on the 3 thinnest strings. My first finger's on G, B, and then E. I'll say the thumb, and then 1, 2, 3. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Just ascending and descending. And let's count that out just to get the rhythm solid. We'd go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So this song is in 12/8 time. time. That's the time signature. And if time signatures confuse you, they shouldn't. They're actually super duper simple. The number on the top, that's how many, and the number on the bottom is of what. So we have 12 eighth notes, and you don't need to know what eighth notes are or anything. Basically, we just have 12 notes in a measure. One enda, that's 3. 2 enda, that's 6. 3 enda, 9. 4 enda, 12. 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda, 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. And that's the feeling for this song, and it goes with the finger picking. 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. And the numbers are always a little bit louder than the endas. So 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. So for the most part, we do our pattern 2 times per chord. So on our C chord, 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda, then 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. And now here we're going to go to the F chord, and we have to actually change our thumb to the thickest string. The fingers stay where they were, but our thumb goes to the thickest string if you're using the bar chord. And if you're using the other F chord, we're gonna leave our thumb where it was on the A string. We're actually gonna bring our fingers up. So now we're on the middle 4 strings. And then for our G chord, thumb is on the thickest string and our fingers are on the highest 3 strings where they normally are. And then we keep going. 2 times on C. 2 times on A minor. And here it's different. We go to the G chord for 2 measures. So we're going to end up doing this 4 times on the G chord. Still mine. 2 times. 3 times. So we're counting to 4 twice. That's another way to think about it. If this confuses you, don't worry. I'm going to have this all at the top of the screen. You'll be able to see everything flowing by and you'll know when to switch. And at the end of the song, I'm going to write it all out so you can kind of see how the math works out, you know, how many times to do everything on everything. Anyways, once you've played around with this finger picking pattern on each of the chord shapes, you know, try it a whole bunch on C, whole bunch on A minor, whole bunch on whichever F chord you choose, and a whole bunch on G, then we can try to put it all together super duper slowly. If you're not comfortable yet, don't worry. You can always just watch me do this and then rewind it and try it with me after. Let's go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and my love. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and one more time through the whole thing. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, so that's the first section, and if you can play that, the next part shouldn't be too much trouble. It's very similar. We're just gonna have 2 new chord shapes. There's an E minor chord, and there's also a C7 chord, and C7 is just like a C chord, but we add 1 note to it. That's the 7, you know that, and that's the 3rd fret of the G string. So it's the one that we're not pressing, you know. 3, 2, use your pinky to press the 3rd fret of the G string. Get a C7 chord. We'll start off once again with the chord order. Starts on a C chord, just counting, downstrokes only. 1, 2, 3, Now, the picking for the new chords for E minor goes like this. We have the thickest string with our thumb and then top 3 strings with our fingers. So it's just like the F bar chord and the G chord. And for C7, it's the same as it was for C. So just work on those a little bit on E minor and C7, and when you're ready, we can put this all together just like we did with the first part. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Godspeed, your love to me. Cool, so the only part left is the bridge, and the bridge does have a little bit of trickiness in it. It has an E flat chord, and this ideally is a bar chord. You play it like this. So we start off by placing our first finger, just the tip of it, on the 6th fret of the A string. And then our ring finger is going to be barring 3 strings on the 8th fret. So that's on the D string, G string, and B string. And I'm just flattening my finger out. You know, if we were strumming, we'd have to position our hand a little better, but since we're finger picking, we just need to press the notes that we need. 6, 8, 8, 8 on the middle 4 strings. And when you're finger picking it, you just have your thumb and your 3 fingers all together on the middle 4 strings. Now, if that's a bit much for you, the other way that I would do this is way simpler. We're just going to press the 6th fret with the tip of our first finger, the 8th fret with our ring finger. We're going to leave this string open by curling our ring finger enough, and then we put our pinky on the 8th fret. So we kind of left a hole in it. 6, 8, open, 8. And this is still an E flat chord. Sounds kind of nice. And that's the easiest one that I could figure out for you to use in this song instead of the bar chord. So just choose one, whichever one suits your fancy. And when you're ready, we can take a look at the chord order. We're going to be starting off on an F chord. Then we go to G. Now we go back to F and to that E flat chord. From there, F, G, and then C and C7. And don't worry, I'm going to write this all out for you so you can copy it down and have the chord order yourself. Following that, we're going to almost repeat it. So F, Riverside, G, wait for me. Going to the E flat chord, me. To a C chord. So practically the same thing, except there's no C7 at the end. Let's just practice this using downstrokes only to get the chord order. This is like the most important section to do that with, you know, so that we can really get these chords down. Starting off on F, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, G, 2, F, E flat, F, G, C, C7, again, F, G, F, E flat, F, G, C. So you can rewind that, try that as many times as you like until you feel comfortable with it. And when you're ready, we can add the finger picking to it. And here, we're basically just gonna do it one time per chord. So, you know, once on F, once on G, once on F again, once on E flat, and so on. So take a minute with that, and when you're ready, we're going to try this together nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 times on C at the end. All right, so those 3 sections make up the entire tune. There's only one other part that we haven't covered yet, and that's the very ending. And this part's kind of optional. You know, you can play through the whole song and just end it without doing this special little ending, but in case you're interested in, you know, for completion's sake, doing the whole song exactly like the recording, here's the ending. It goes like this. So it's kind of like the verse, you know, we go C to A minor, but once we get to the F chord, we're doing our F bar chord here, we do it, the pattern 1 time on F, and then we switch to F minor, just by lifting off our middle finger, 1 time on F minor, and then we strum C once. And if you're doing this version of F, you can play F minor by lifting your middle finger and then using your first finger to bar those 2 strings. So. See, I'm barring the G and B string at the first fret. Ring finger, pinky finger, first. And to show you where that ending goes, I'm actually going to write out the song for you right now. All right, so we've already played through everything. Now it's time to just assemble it all. We're going to start off with our verse, and we're going to do our pattern 2 times on each one. And there we go. That's our first section. And we're going to do that all again. And then we're going to move on to the next part. And since we have 2 parts, let's start labeling. So far we have A, B. That's our form. And from here, we move on to C. And this part's different. Here, we just do our pattern 1 time on each of these. And that's why I'm just putting 1 slash under them. And at the end here, see how this one, we do it twice on C. Otherwise, it's once each. And once we reach this point, we're going to go do the A section 1 more time. Just one of them, you know, just that one. We're going to do it 1 more time. Then we're going to do a little bit of the B section. We're going to do the first 6 chords. So we're going to do this. We just go to that point, and then we're going to do our ending, which goes like this. And just to clarify, I wrote out how many times we do it for each one of these. So 2 times, and so on, except here. And that's it. That's the whole tune. So that's how you play the Righteous Brothers or Bobby Hatfield's version of Unchained Melody from 1965 in a fingerpicking style, which sounds a lot like the original recording, which is done on like a piano in that same way, you know, ascending and descending. If you need any extra help, don't forget to check out my resources. I have my free ebook, my beginner's course, Barre Chord course, a bunch of other stuff coming out. Links to all that down below. You could even ask me in the comments if you need any help. I'll try to help you out the best I can. Otherwise, I hope you have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you next time.